My friends, good day. Several questions this week about company buyouts. So, my company is going to be bought out. There are rumors going around, whispers in the hallways, as they say. So, what should I do? What's going to happen? Well, let me tell you, I've been through at least three buyouts in my career. And honestly, those aren't necessarily easy times, but let's try to demystify this. So, first of all, if you work in a small and medium sized enterprise in dynamic sectors, but even in less dynamic sectors, I want to say, well, there's always a chance that one day a big competitor, an American group, or an investment fund will show up. And then, bam, you get completely swallowed up. So sometimes it's announced, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you work in a company that wants to sell itself. Sometimes you hear hallway conversations every day. We're looking for a buyer. So usually when we're looking for a buyer, for me, that's a yellow flag, not necessarily a red flag. Sometimes it's simply the founders who are tired and want to get out, want to cash in, then retire and go do something else. That can happen, but sometimes, so in those cases, it's on a case by case basis. You have to judge. Sometimes it's more of a situation where things are going badly. That means either. It happened to me once working in a company at the very beginning of my career, and it was either we find a buyer or we're going to die. And I can tell you that the company still exists today. It merged with another one, then, well, they declined and all that. They're not as big as they used to be, but they still exist. Just to tell you that, it's not it's not necessarily a bad sign, but it's a worrying sign. I want to say so something else. Sometimes suddenly you don't even hear any rumors beforehand, and then you hear that the company has been bought out. You hear that this happened to me once. I was in a company that got bought out by Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard spends their time buying companies of all sizes, and actually we found out about it in the media. I remember we were at the office and suddenly there was a colleague who was standing, I remember it like it was today, in front of his screen. And he said, "Hey guys, we've been bought out." And then within 15 seconds, we were all gathered around his screen. He was looking at a news site and it said that we had been bought out. So you find out like that, no warning signs. So what do you do then? Let me tell you. There are several reasons why a company buys another one. It can be for growth, it can be a strategic acquisition, saying, we are missing this range of products, we are poorly positioned in this vertical. What we want is to buy this company that will allow us to complete what we are, and we're going to invest in it, we're going to boost it, we're going to get everyone involved. All right, so it can be an investment that goes in the right direction, which means that for you, in the short term, your job isn't necessarily at risk. So, how do you know? First, you have to listen to them, all right? You have to listen to them. But unfortunately, I have to tell you that, as is often the case in the economy, they won't tell you the truth. That means they'll always come and say good things, etc. But in reality, that's why I tend to watch what they do more than what they say. What they do matters to me 10 times more than what they'll tell us about different professions. By the way, just to tell you a little story, in the company that was bought out, what happened was they told us it was a growth acquisition. That means, well, we're going to put our salespeople on it, we're going to invest. You'll have access to our distribution network and all that. So basically, we're going to sell a lot, you'll see. Well, it's true. It's true. That's how it happened at first, I have to say. So at the beginning, that's how it went. They created a recruitment process because their client base grew rapidly and they needed more staff. Until the moment when someone said, you know what, we're going to transfer everything to Bangalore in India. You see, we're going to outsource everything and then close here. That's what happened. Everyone was laid off. I was lucky because, well, it's not really luck. Paranoid as I am, I had already made my decision. I had found another job elsewhere in another company that would be bought out later. Also, you see, so when you get bought out, the problem is that unfortunately you don't have any visibility. What happens sometimes, and even often, is that during the buyout, you have positions that become redundant. For example, let's say you work in human resources. The company that buys you out also has its own human resources department. They just have to take the file of the workers and add it to theirs. Then they don't need you anymore, you see, unless maybe they do need you the first 6 months, because at the beginning, they'll have to analyze the contracts, the stuff, the issues, transfer the files. Yes, at the beginning, yes, they need you. By the way, that's why they lie, because companies, why do they fundamentally lie? They lie to protect their own interests. Because if you tell the human resources lady, you know what? Our goal is for you to help us transfer the files, and then we're going to fire you. What will she do? She'll leave right away. So they won't be able to use her knowledge, her expertise. So what are they going to do? They're going to lie to her. It's normal in the business world. Lying is something completely normal. There's nothing unusual about it. People lie all the time, even if it's just a little. If you want to know everything, just watch a commercial before the 8 post Meridian News. I haven't watched television in a while, but I assume they still show commercials then. Well, watch the commercials and tell me if you think they're telling the truth. They lie to the consumer, they lie to the regulator, diesel guide, and then they lie to their employees. Of course. So when you're navigating acquisitions, when you're navigating, we call those mergers. When two companies merge, yes, mergers. You have to be very careful and not listen to what they say, but above all, watch what they do. Now, there's another type of purchase, which is a predatory purchase. The difference is that with a growth purchase, you might have 6 months, you might even have a year. With a predatory purchase, you only have a few hours. Why? Because a predatory purchase is, we have a company that's bothering us, so we're going to buy it to shut it down. Or you might say, but why pay millions just to shut it down? It can happen. Sometimes there are reasons. For example, this company, let's say, when we look at it, they have intellectual property, for example. They've filed patents, they have patents, and those patents interest us. We don't need them, we don't need anything else, but we need those patents because if we use their technology without having the patents, they could sue us and so on. So it would end up being too expensive. So what we're going to do is buy them out. And then, well, we liquidate them. So what we usually take is the intellectual property, meaning the patents. We'll take the client list. The client list can always be useful. That's clear, a client list. So they'll take it. And then if there are manufacturing secrets, if there are things like that, we take them, we pack them up, and then we put them in big boxes and bring them back. It's loot. You see, it's literally a raid, isn't it? It's a raid we're doing. And after that, the people, we get rid of them. It's simple, they're out. You think not, but why am I insisting? Let me tell you something. Because sometimes I have people who contact me on this phone and tell me, yeah, I would like to leave. I found a very interesting position, but my employer, I feel bad for them. You see, I feel bad for them because if I let them down right now, they'll be in a lot of trouble. Well, let me tell you something. I'll tell you a story. Maybe I'll make another video to tell you a story. But for me, maybe it's letting go at the worst possible moment. Maybe even, how should I put it, an incentive. It's going to create even more of an incentive, isn't it? Even if maybe I can arrange the schedule to do it, to resign at the worst possible moment. That's how I am. You see, it's a war, all right? Without mercy, really, I'm without mercy. So listen, which means that in general, really what you should take away from this video, I want to say it's that if ever you feel like there's a buyout in the air or your company has been bought out, well, I know how life goes. If you don't have a choice, if the market is bad and you're not going to find a job within 500 kilometers, I say you stay, you try to make it last as long as possible, but it won't depend on you. But if you have some leeway, if you have the possibility to leave, or if anyway, you're fed up with this company and you wanted to leave, honestly, take this opportunity and get out, really. In some cases, you can negotiate certain benefits, I hope I'm being clear. I want to say regarding these benefits. But first, there's a pinned comment under the video. It's Killers, the partner of this channel. Really, he's a top-notch partner. Proof is we've been working together for a very long time. They can help you find a job if you've lost yours, or even if you're currently working. And if you want to change, you want to go somewhere else, but you need help, that's exactly their area of expertise. And in some cases, it's covered by France Travail key account. As for me, they watch my videos. Even these ones, they know them very well. They also read my books. Like Toxic. So about Toxic, by the way, Toxic is now available on Audible. Really, and it's recorded by me. It's not a synthetic voice. And it's not someone I paid to do the job. Because you asked me, please make us the audio version of your book, Toxic. I did it, this audio version, all right? And you remember some time ago, I showed a video where I was practicing reading books. It was in preparation for this book, and it has been available for about a week on Audible. So now there's just one detail, and I'm putting this in heavy quotation marks, okay? But it might be worth the work. For example, in the United Kingdom, we have what are called stock options. So we receive stock options, but they are locked until a certain date in the future. That date in the future could be 2 years ahead. So that means before then, you can't do anything. You can't cash them in. They're there in your account. You see them, but you can't do anything. On the other hand, if there's an acquisition, sometimes there are negotiations that can happen where you can unlock your stock options. Sometimes there are possibilities for benefits. You see, even in France, look at the labor code and the branch agreements, collective agreements, all that depending on the situation. And then it's ready. You should talk to a lawyer from here since it's too specific. The lawyer needs to review your sector, employer, and contract. The detail means that the advice is individualized and you look and see a little bit what are your opportunities, because sometimes if you can get a little extra money, it's always good. So there you go, my friends. Thank you for watching this video until now. I'm going to make another one to tell you about a kind of standoff I had with my N plus and how it ended. All right, I'll leave you now, my friends. See you very soon. Don't forget Kelus, pinned comment.